Crack on. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I don't know how to do a thumbs up. Go for it.
All right, morning everyone. We'll keep it short and snappy today. We just want to go through some kind of basic foundations of sales and marketing, particularly for the broker customer base we have. What borrowers want to see, what brokers are sort of doing well in the market with our technology, and obviously a lot of it happens without it. So let's crack on. We'll do Q&A at the end. A handful of slides, probably take 20-25 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions. So feel free to drop questions in the chat. Ed's going to field those, and we'll crack on. So borrower stages, the diagram on the right-hand side is the classic funnel of conversion pre-sale and post-sale. So some of you might recognize Mark Champ down there on the left-hand side, but he's an example of a broker customer of ours who we've taken through that funnel. We didn't know each other existed 12 months ago. He heard about Brickflow. We engaged. There was a lot of in-person selling. There was a lot of digital selling. He eventually converted to become a Brickflow Enterprise customer, and he's now, out the other side of that funnel as an adopter, a loyalist, and an ambassador. We're room sharing next week in MIPIM. He's making some nice introductions for me. I'm making some nice introductions for him. But he's there just to humanize the fact that the basics do work, and whatever marketing sort of spiel we can put around it. Principally, it's about getting in front of people, doing the basics really well, having some good technology to back you up, and staying consistent. We'll briefly touch on how to use AI. I think that's potentially a webinar all on its own. It's changing every day, but there's a couple of things you can do to give you a bit more time off desk and speed up your existing processes. I'll kick it over to John in terms of basics of outreaching to clients.
Hi guys, so on this one, direct outreach. So here we're talking about kind of cold email and LinkedIn messaging. So like the key thing on this, point to make on this is just keep it short, simple, stand out and have a good offer. There's a lot of us are getting a lot of sales emails, especially developers. So really keep it short and sharp. Personalize where you can. AI is getting a lot better at this, scraping people's websites to kind of create personalized messaging at scale. But the best personalized is actually just look at an account and think and create a short, sharp message. We're finding Loom's really good for this, and just video in general. People are used to watching videos. It's more engaging, so use Loom. And Fraser, over to you on this bit around scoring leads.
Yeah, I'd reiterate the Loom point as well. Really, that's something that's worked really well for us, and I think for really good salespeople, the benefit is often in person. It's the fact that we're decent individuals and we have a lot to offer and we're personable. And the Loom or Vidyard is another example. These are really good little plugins that sit in your browser, and it gives you the opportunity to be personable at scale, and people see and hear you. So I guess there's another factor to that Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter or X as it's called now, people are getting very, very used to that's how they engage. The marketing agencies will say that you need to be doing video content because that gets the most engagement. So I think there's, in a nice way, marketing and sales has come full circle. It doesn't need to be just digital in the sense of it's emails. It can be emails, but those emails can include a video message, which gives you an opportunity to properly get your personality across, which really does make a difference. Scoring leads as well is where we're starting to see customers use our technology. So working out the intent of a lead that's come in. A lead is great, contact information and phone number, email address, but we can talk to a couple of things later on in the presentation that should give you an idea of the intent of that lead and where you should be spending your time. So that's really interesting as well. AI, again, ChatGPT, I've got it bookmarked on my browser. Just start using it. It's free. It's really useful to help draft copy for emails, for a LinkedIn post, all that sort of stuff. You don't need to go into too hard and fast with it. Just start simple, but definitely as a habit, bring it into your process. Partnerships. I think there's more technology in the space now than ever before, whether that's Searchland, Nimbus Maps, the agent portals are getting better. Companies like Landtech, Lenigans, Barber ABI. So the challenge for brokers and intermediaries is to sit further up in the funnel, earlier on in what could be a potential transaction, rather than I've got a site, I need finance now. You can potentially put yourself further up that chain to actually capture developers and borrowers before they go elsewhere or before they go into a different function as to where they're going to get their finance. Property courses and platforms, I mean, they're obviously a really good place to be. The example on the right-hand side it's actually our first broker agent integration. So this was really good by the guys at Southwest Business Finance, Dan and Steve, that did a really good job. They already knew Mags and Allen. There was an agreement in place already. There's a strong relationship. But what the technology has enabled them to do is go and capture more borrowers across the Mags and Allen listings where there's an appropriate Brickflow search to be run, be that bridging finance for an auction, commercial mortgage, or it's land with planning for development. Obviously, they can use the development finance search. So that's a really good example of a brokerage. You've got really good personnel already, great salespeople, lots of industry experience, good relationships with agents, and now the technology just takes it up a notch. And obviously it cements their position that any traffic that Mags and Allen is getting, there's that digital referral pathway and a strong user experience for the borrower to actually see what finance they can get. Lordson's estate agents down the bottom here as well is an example of Mark Champ. He went in their early doors. So that's another example. John, anything to add?
I don't think so on that one. I think, just the main thing, new release we've kind of had with partnerships is these partner links. So for current enterprise users, if you're not already, do get in touch with Anna and Tessa around how to start to implement those. So onto events and trade shows. So yeah, I think this is a great way to get in front of a number of developers at the right time. So check out your local property events. We've created a huge list of more than 100 events. So I'll send those out in the slides afterwards. Great way to use Brickflow at these is presenting Brickflow on screen and using QR codes to get people to run searches whilst you're talking, whilst you're on screen, whilst you're there. Really nice way to get a large number of leads in one go. Next slide, please, Fraser. So SEO and PPC. Some of you might already be doing this. If you're not already, SEO-wise, it can take a while. It's free, but it can take quite a long time to set up. One thing I would say on this is an easy win is to make sure that you're optimizing for local SEO. So, finance type, your area, development finance, whole there. If you type in development finance whole, there's not loads of people. And then also just Google My Business as well on that. If you were to type in development finance whole, it would bring up Google Maps, a kind of Google Maps panel within Google. So that's a really easy way to start ranking. So I'd start with that. On PPC, I mean, we've got loads of time to get into this now, but just, watch the costs and the quality of those leads. How to use Brickflow for SEO and PPC. We think that we've got a really compelling offer here when people are running a quick search. having compare live loans from 110 plus lenders is far better than a contact us or ring us to talk about development finance. It just warms that lead up nicely, and also means you don't have to spend a load of time calling unqualified leads. Anything to add on that, Fraser, at all? I think so.
I think the only thing I'd add is the beginning of that lead scoring element. If you've got some sort of search function that a developers come to you with a requirement, I'm looking for £2 million to build 10 houses. That's significantly, or that has significantly higher intent than filling a form in to say, let's speak. So some of the new enterprise customers we've got who are very active in the Google SEO, PPC kind of marketing channel, that's how they're viewing our offering. It's the intent of that lead as it comes through and where they should be spending their time. They don't have the intention of hiring 10 or 20 salespeople to churn through the leads. They want to stay quite lean as a business, spend well in marketing, but deal with high intent leads physically over the phone in person and nurture the rest of them through digital marketing efforts, keeping them active, staying relevant, that kind of thing. On social media?
Social media. So yeah, I think this is a really nice kind of addition to just build trust over time. Everyone's on social media nowadays and probably most of you do it, but just keeping consistent with the current people you're talking to, incorporating it into your other activities. So if you go to an event, try and join the Facebook community, the WhatsApp group for that event, and just continue to be active. So I think there's quite a lot of a nurturing trust building process that goes on in social media, where you might not be getting huge reach, but it will help just to nurture those people. On the reach side of things, where you're trying to get views and build awareness, just really think about people's attention spans in a TikTok age, that like the hook, the first 2 seconds. So on a LinkedIn post, it's the first line. On video, it's the first 2 seconds. Just really spend a lot of time on that. Good tools for that. Just good editing tools like CapCut for video and Canva for video and stills. How to use Brickflow on this? I think just using it as a call to action on your posts, having it on your LinkedIn, and then also like where you're creating video, like try out video in your process. Just like that example there, how I find the best bridging deals. Just, screen record the Brickflow technology in action. I think next on to you, Fraser. Oh yeah, this is me as well. So yeah, just on this point around, if you're driving traffic to your website, try and be more interesting than just contact us. Try and give people a bit more of a reason to enter their details. Even like book a meeting is even better than just contact us. And then also, we think Brickflow can really help here. If you move on to the next slide, Fraser, if you compare that contact us page to this page, we think this is a lot more compelling. And we'll start to give you a bunch more information so you can go in more prepared when someone does contact you.
And speak to them in person. There's definitely no replacement for that. We're not trying to convince anyone that there is. Free consultations seem to work well. I think everyone's expected that virtual meetings are a way to get things done as well. Obviously they're good. The time spent element is less, but I feel I sit in the old school crowd of where you can be in front of someone in person. That's definitely a win. Let's not forget that. Software wise, in terms of showing our technology and whether that's branded as you, we're seeing brokers who are using it are building trust with developers through providing a bit of transparency in the market. The reality is developers or consumers very generally are often looking for comparison. You know, we're used to in our day to day seeing things side by side, whether it's Amazon, Rightmove, Skyscanner, whatever it is. The expectation of consumers is that you're going to market before you make a purchase decision. And our market view at Brickflow is that needs to happen in the space we're in across development, bridging, and commercial. So we're always encouraging people to share those searches, talk through with borrowers what you're doing. You've keyed in this information. This is what the technology is telling me, but the technology isn't telling me everything. Yeah, I'm adding my experience on top of being in the market for 10, 20 years. So the two complement each other. It isn't one or the other. We also generally know that a developer 80% of the time is not in the market for finance. They might be thinking about it, they might be appraising sites, but the interesting dynamic that creates, I guess, is that most of the time you're speaking to people, it won't be with a finance requirement. And I guess you've got to be cognizant of that. But what other value can you provide? I think the other, and just this is a personal learning, really, I'm sort of 1 year into this space, but busy brokers are seeing significantly more deals than a developer. A busy developer would transact 2, 3, maybe 4 times in a year. Busy brokers are doing that in a month, possibly more. So never underestimate the volume of deals you're seeing and the value that has to a developer. So whether it's sharing case studies or just catch up over a quick coffee or a beer or golf, whatever it is, the volume of deals that brokers see relative to developers it's a big difference. And I think sometimes that point gets glossed over, but actually that's a really powerful thing when you think about inserting yourself between, lenders and borrowers or developers. The lenders are coming at this with big marketing budgets. That's digitally, that's events, the sponsoring rugby teams, wining and dining, whatever it is, to go and really make yourself relevant with those developers. Never underestimate that the volume of deals you're seeing is really significant, and obviously the experience that provides. Sales velocity. So again, this goes into the lead scoring element. It's nuanced per product. Obviously, a search that's come through for an auction house purchase is a much higher velocity sale than land with planning that might get granted in 12 months' time for a development finance type deal. So where the technology can help you is maintain that velocity. So let's take the auction house purchase as an example. The search has come in, the borrower has a fairly immediate requirement to complete on the auction purchase. Within 5 to 10 minutes, this can fly through Brickflow. You can share 3 to 5 decision in principles with the borrower, and you present likely better than others will than an email that says, I think I can get this deal done at roughly this rate. An example on the right hand side there is of our dip table. So you've got 3 sets of terms there: Hilltop, Ingenious, and Paragon in that example. But I think in any sales job that maintaining the velocity of the sale is really important. There's a time where people are motivated to get things done. I think where brokers can maintain that velocity, and the really good ones are trying to push solicitors, I guess other legal teams, but valuers. That's actually where what the technology gives you is more time to spend on doing that, which is where the risk of the deal loses velocity and loses momentum and potentially falls out. There's a few things you can do to make sure you've either got time to focus on those areas or to just keep the borrower motivated that actually this deal is going to get done. Couple of points as well, that we've got 2 full-time employees who are chasing lenders for their most up-to-date criteria, and they'll also chase lenders for terms to make sure that they're in keeping with the SLA on our side. So lean on it. We're here to support. We're here to support the intermediary community, so brokers and agents. So lean on us to help with that stuff. That needn't be something you manage all on your own. John, I think this one back to you.
Yeah, so kind of on to the next stage of the funnel. This is once they've converted, so they might have paid a fee, or they might have actually just completed. This is about, you know, through adopter to loyalist. How do you make sure that their experience is good now they've completed? And then as you get up towards ambassador, it's thinking around how can you use people you have a really good relationship with, who really like your service. How can you use them to then go and kind of bring more sales in around the other side? So next slide. So referrals. I mean, this is a really good one to do if you're not doing it already. For those ambassadors who you do have a really good relationship with, getting them to refer their friends is just so much stronger, and is actually a relatively cheap way of doing marketing. So like, in order to do this, offer incentives to them. Brickflow can help here with tracking links as well. So people, you can get people to refer at scale a bit more, and properly track and report back to them kind of how their referral efforts have gone. We also think that, you know, comparing live loans, or, you know, checking out the software is a bit of an easier warming up process when you are referring people. It's a bit less committal. So yeah, referrals are a great one. Next slide, Fraser. It's over to you.
Yeah, and I guess from going back to that original diagram of the two-sided funnel, you know, we've brought people in, we've nurtured them, we've converted them. Now it's about nurturing them on the other side, making them an ambassador, maintaining relationships. Again, I would say don't underestimate the value of your personal networks for agents, whether it's legal professionals, contractors. Again, the volume of deals you're seeing relative to developers is much higher. You'll know where the good agents are, where the bad ones are. Same for legals and contractors. So I think there's lots of quick wins there just in your personal network. And then regular comms on a few things, the latest rates. Obviously, the debt market's a bit more dynamic this year than it has been for the last 10 years or so. So keeping people up to date, knowing that you've got your finger on the pulse, and obviously the technology outsources all of that for you. You needn't be sat trawling websites for what lenders are pricing what. And I think comms on other deals being done. If it's an ambitious developer looking to scale up, any case studies you can do on deals you've done or you've been involved with that are slightly further up the chain than what they have. They know they're in good hands. They stay with you. Tips from other developers is an easier one. There's a really interesting call I heard a broker make the other day, which was that last bullet point around what probably a lot of developers don't quite realize is once they get to a certain point, they actually become a finance company rather than a builder. Suddenly you're not doing 2 or 3 houses as a build. You're getting closer to 30, 40, 50. And actually the reason those developers fail is often not because they can't build it or the bricks were delivered late or anything else. It's because the debt and the finance crippled the scheme or the company. So where there's really good brokers and sort of advisors around those developers, I think that's really powerful, is just educating them on that journey that you're actually becoming a finance company, not a builder. Obviously that's the core part of it, but you need someone to have a really strong eye on the finances, and often these guys are a long way from having a full-time FD or budget for a finance department to manage that. That's where the really good brokers come in and do an excellent job. So again, I think something well worth noting. Data, this is interesting. It's searches that have happened on Brickflow software, either at brickflow.com or across our customer base. there's a few numbers on here, but the one to look at is this, the 478. So in 2024, there's been 478 borrowers run a search and key in their details to say, I want to speak to someone about this particular loan requirement. For context, last year we had 192. So in the first 2 months of 2024, we are nearly 2.5x what we saw for all of last year. So there'll be a market element to that generally things are a bit more buoyant and the sentiment's more positive, but also more customers have come in and taken this on and really run with it. And the data is very early stage still, but it's really encouraging that borrowers do want to run a search, and that's beneficial for everyone. You know, it kills deals early where the finance just doesn't stack, and equally it helps brokers nurture them through that funnel. They don't need to speak to you every time necessarily. They just need to come access the market, see where they're at, and when they're ready to deal, they'll be in touch. You know, it's that lead scoring thing. The chart in the background hasn't come through particularly clearly, but that's just the growth of the figures you see on the left hand side. So it's pretty undeniable that borrowers will come and run a search. They find that useful. So that's that. On the topic of referrals, we've got a referral scheme now live for brokers and lenders. A couple of you on the call have very kindly referred people into us, so there's referrals up for grabs. If there's anyone who'd like a trial on Brickflow, you can do that as well. Feel free to request a trial, and Anna or Tessa, one of the customer success team, will talk you through it. But otherwise, I'll pause there and welcome any questions, really. John, if there's anything else to add, please do. Otherwise, Ed, do you want to let us know, questions-wise, where we are?
People are being a bit shy in the chat around questions. But yeah, any kind of questions from the guys, then just chip in. I think, you know, for me, it'd be good to hear, John, in terms of, say, social as part of that kind of marketing mix, kind of what's working for Brickflow, in terms of, you know, what we're doing on LinkedIn, for example. What's the best way of approach versus you know, company versus individual, for example?
So yeah, I mean, I'd say for LinkedIn, I mean, one thing on social, I think when you think about social, think about it by platform. So, you know, LinkedIn's very different to Instagram. LinkedIn, what seems to be working quite well at the moment is kind of like text-based posts, but like offering people a gift. And I say gift, I mean we did that property events post recently, which did quite well. So like strong first line hook, and then asking people, you know, a useful resource that looks almost like a spreadsheet or something that's kind of not too polished, that looks kind of a bit more practical, and asking people to request it in the comments helps the algorithm just keep that post going. So that's working quite well on LinkedIn at the moment.
Yeah, they say it's just kind of value adds to people, which is useful and helps engagement, and those kind of comments enable your post to get a farther level of reach. That makes sense. Fraser, just for you in terms of sales and marketing coming together and kind of working as a team, have you got any kind of recommendations to make sure that both teams are aligned?
I think it's a constant dialogue, isn't it? And as we've said, we're here to support the broker community and our customers. So, you know, our marketing team and the content we produce is an extension of your team. So we're happy for you know, whether it's playbooks or just more thought leadership content, general research pieces, we're happy for that stuff to be white labeled as, you know, under your brand, and you can distribute that to developers. So we're here to support on that front. As I say, see our marketing function as an extension of yours. We've got customers who do that. You know, needn't involve you doing lots of heavy lifting. So keep that in mind. And as I say, constant dialogue. You know, think things are changing. There's more to talk about these days, which is good. So just keep the dialogue open.
With that in mind, if in terms of these webinars, what you think will be useful for the community here and the people attending, do let us know. We're keen to run one of these webinars, both kind of updating you guys on the platform, but providing useful content every month. So do let us know, or when you speak to Anna and Tessa. That's us over half an hour, Fraser. So unless anyone's got any specific questions, then we can wrap things up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if there's any questions before we close down? Doesn't sound like there is. All right. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.